Thank you very much, Mr. Magnus Danielson. I guess I pronounced well. So
Good enough.
the topic today I'm going to explain will not be something new for someone who is working in time and frequency from a long time. It's 1/f phase noise. So I'll be most precisely focusing on the type of system, the type of instrument that I use to measure phase noise. So it's an ultra-stable quartz crystal resonator. So I'll try to test a model for the 1/f phase noise that exists on our system by a probability distribution defined by Mittag-Leffler. I'm Alok Pokhrel. I am a PhD student at Femto-ST Institute in Besançon, France. Beginning with my work, I'll give a brief history on flicker noise, and I'll present my device where I measure of which I measure phase noise, and I'll mention the phase noise measuring bench that we use in our lab, and then I'll give information on power law intermittency and how this thing exists and is given a distribution, has a distribution given by Mittag-Leffler. And then I'll finally explain my experimental results, observation, and I'll conclude by giving some perspectives. So it was Johnson who accidentally found flicker noise on vacuum tubes, and after a decade it was found on granular graphites by Christensen and followed in thin films by Bernamont. And the most remarkable thing in terms of length of measurement was first of all observed by Callanoids, where to his surprise he measured flicker noise on operational amplifier. For 3 weeks of phase noise measurement on op-amps, what he found out was there was no low frequency cutoff. He went till the frequency 10 to the power minus 6 on Fourier domain, like you can see here, but all he found out was the slope of 1/f. So I'll not be going much more on the historical part of observations on phase noise, but I'll be more precisely focusing on the recent work so far done on phase noise. I'll try to highlight some of the work. So the main objective of this slide is to show that, to resemble that 1/f noise is not only observed in resonators, for example, quartz resonators or sapphire resonators, but also on other scientific domains. So for the recent development of observation of 1/f noise was on van der Rohe materials in 2017. So the top half explains the observation part of 1/f noise on electronic device or on other scientific domains, but the bottom part resembles the prediction of 1/f noise, because so far there is no an actual prediction for where this 1/f noise comes from. So I'll not be focusing on all of the parts and all of the observations so far done, but I'll be focusing on the recent prediction given by Mihaela and Ott, where she found that the device has 1/f noise. She found on her carbon soot resistor. So this 1/f noise comes from as she says, her observation says that this noise comes from electron-phonon coupling. Well, these are all the scientific contributions that people do in the domain of research regarding 1/f noise, so I'll not be much more focused on this part, but I'll be much more focused on the modeling parts so far done in the past by a lot of researchers. So beginning with that, it was Schottky, Dupré, and Datta and al. who gave a model that the superposition of, starting from Schottky, the superposition of Lorentzian spectrum, power spectrum, has a fluctuation of frequency, and which can be generalized by the random relaxation time, which was proposed by Dupré. And on this formula, we can see that this formula has an activation energy at the exponential, which shows that this distribution, if there is an activation energy, then this activation energy should be equally distributed on the selected range of frequency interval. And then after that, it was Datta and al. who did a Taylor series expansion on the frequency within the activation energy for a given frequency interval. And what they found that they calculated the power spectral density for that activation energy and within that frequency interval, And what they found out was 1 by f noise with alpha nearly equal to 1 in the given frequency interval, as can be seen on this figure. But what they missed so far is that they calculated the activation energy for a given frequency interval, but they could not find what happens on the lower frequency intervals. So it was Niemann and all in 2013 where he proposed a model that power law intermittency exists at low frequency. And also, in the same paper, he mentions that contrary to Kalanoit's work, where he couldn't find lower cutoff frequency going below 10 to the power minus 6 Hz, he says that there exists a lower cutoff frequency which might be equal to the inverse of the measurement time. So I'll not be focusing on the second part of his work, but I'll be more probably focusing on the first part where he says that the power law intermittency exists at low frequencies. So beginning with the work, this is my device that I work with to measure phase noise. It's a quartz crystal resonator having resonant frequency at 5 MHz. So this resonator was fabricated by French Space Center in their recent project involving all the European partners. So they used the same mother crystal to fabricate almost 100+ resonators. So they used this well-known Tierson plano-convex model to fabricate their resonator. So our resonators are the part of their fabricated resonators. Lastly, so presenting my phase noise measurement bench, we measure phase noise on pair of resonators. So how do we do that? We provide equal amount of excitation power to both of our resonators kept on a bench. It's a carrier suppression technique, so we try to suppress the effect of the carrier on our device under test. Finally, we cancel the carrier effect and we add the noise from both the resonators, from both the device under test. We amplify and we finally measure the values from a fast Fourier transform analyzer. So another important part of this bench is the calibration part, where we inject a known frequency inside a bandwidth of resonator, and then finally we calculate the value of correction factor using FFT analyzer, which value we add with the final results of the FFT analyzer measured phase noise. So this is the typical graph of phase noise measured by FFT analyzer, where we have single side power spectral density on the y-axis and offset frequency on x-axis. So here we can see our device also has a nice slope of 1 by f. So for this slope we have a value of lesion around 2 Hz. So when we have this value, we calculate the power spectral density of our device. So this was the phase noise measuring part. So since our resonator is a bulk acoustic wave quartz crystal resonator, we need to maintain the resonators at certain inversion temperature. So we use an oven to do that. So this is an example of a single oven where we can have a 1 by f slope up till 0.5 Hz on Fourier domain. So we wanted to have this value at a much lower level. So what we did, it was not possible by using this single oven. So we used another oven, it's double oven, which allowed us to see the 1 by f curve for an hour of measurement around 10 to the power minus 2 Hz. So it was what we required. So this was the phase noise measuring part and all the application that we have applied using for the measurement of noise on our resonator. So let us come to the modeling part. This is a typical scientific journal by Niemann and al., where they have two parts on their journal. The first part explains the fluctuation of 1 by f noise at lower frequency exists, and the second part it says like there is lower frequency cutoff, and which is nearly equal to the inverse of the measurement time. So as he proposes, the power spectrum will have 1 by f delta nature, and that comes from the power law waiting time given by this formula, where this value delta is related to the power exponent alpha by this formula, where delta equals to 2 minus alpha. So what we did, we took 48, we did for a certain time, for a fixed time frame, we did 48 measurements on phase noise. So we computed this parameter for a range of frequency. whereas he has proposed that the power spectral density of frequency fluctuation is proportional to the 1 by f delta, where delta nearly equals to 1, we measured by a direct fit that I'll be going to show on my next slide. So is following proposition, like if you have this parameter, then this parameter is random and exponential and also has a finite mean. And this finite mean, when multiplied by a common random variable of y having a parameter alpha, will be convergent to a distribution given by Mittag-Leffler, whose parameter alpha is nearly equal to the value of alpha component given by the power law. So what we did, we used this formula to calculate the value of Mittag-Leffler distribution involving our average value for a band of frequencies. So this is the direct fit of normalized power spectrum on the y-axis, and we have Fourier frequency on x-axis. So by a direct fit, we have a value of delta around 1.18, and by that we calculated the value of alpha, where we had 0.82. So this was the value of alpha from a direct fit. This anyone can do, I guess. So now what the another part of his work comes. So if you have a value of alpha from a direct fit, then this must be synchronized with the distribution given by Mittag-Leffler. So what do? We use this formula and we plotted a histogram that shows the normalized normalized value of Mittag-Leffler distribution on y-axis with the average value of m using this formula. So we plotted different values of alpha with different values of Mittag-Leffler distribution for that alpha. So what we come to have is that our experimental value of alpha happens to be a best fit with the value of alpha equals to 0.82 by a distribution provided by Mittag-Leffler. So now we are done. We are with a good agreement with the value from direct fit and the value that we obtain from using the Mittag-Leffler distribution formula. So therefore, concluding my work, I would like to say that the histogram of normalized power spectrum well collided seems to follow the power distribution given by Mittag-Leffler as to same as the value of alpha given by a direct fit. And on quasi-resonator, Nine-Man's model seems to support the phenomena of power law intermittency at low frequency. And also regarding a second part of work, where he has said that the lower cutoff frequency exists and which is proportional to the inverse of the measurement time, we are still on process to do that. So this might solve the problem of non-integrable nature of power spectral density, which has been talked from far long in domain of time and frequency. So by just doing 48 measurements, we can't say that we have validated Nine-Man's model regarding the lower power law intermittency at low frequencies. So we need to increase more measurements regarding use of Nine-Man's model on our system on quasi-crystal resonator. And also we plan to do measurement on different kind of resonator pairs. For example, good pairs, good bad pairs. By saying good or bad, I mean to say like we have categorized the resonator in terms of stability value on Ln standard deviation flow. So by saying that, I want to conclude my work that we almost tested the Nine-Man's model on our quasi-crystal resonator. Thank you very much for your time.